All right, it's Sunday afternoon. I just cannot wait any longer. So this is unscripted. I have no idea where this is going to go, but this 100% has to be said and shared with y'all over at the Daily Signal. Obviously, as you now know, the United States, via the direction of President Trump and those he nominated and were confirmed, pulled off one of the greatest military operations of all time. 0 U.S. servicemen killed. Army Delta Force is 100% undefeated. Cyber attacks by the United States shut the lights off in Caracas before Apache helicopters rolled in, blasting the slow version of Macarena as though it were the Gulf War yet again. The President of the United States in the Situation Room with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio making it very clear 4 hours after a Chinese delegation had left, after Maduro had been so cocky and confident that he would be continually allowed in infinitum ad nauseum to send drugs into the United States to participate in the human trafficking cartels that have abused hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children. He thought he was safe. He thought that he would be able to enjoy the same type of blustering dictatorial joy that Saddam Hussein enjoyed before, as George H.W. Bush put it, the coalition shoved its fine 1990s boot up his rear end. Now Maduro feels the full force of the United States. A military operation that was over less than a few minutes after it began. That Army's special forces, the Delta Force, without all of the blustery movies and the Mark Wahlberg and the self-aggrandizement, went in, took care of business, threw him on a plane, and got him out of the country. He wasn't able to make it to a safe room. The air defenses that were bragged about. Oh, the Russian air defenses, Tony. The Russians, they're so impressive militarily. They can't even take over a corrupt country in Eastern Europe, but oh, those Russians are so strong. The United States obliterated the Russian air defenses when we struck Baghdad back in the Gulf War. The United States obliterated Soviet air defenses and all that was left over from it during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The number of air casualties in the last 30 years are next to nothing. The United States has lost more pilots and equipment in its own errors than any other nation or militia, any other paramilitary group or terrorist group has come close to accomplishing. The most United States casualties that have been effectuated by air was on 9/11. The United States Air Force, the United States Army, and the United States prime military contracting agencies, which it uses to accomplish certain things in certain parts of the world, are incredible. They are unmatched. And no matter how you feel about the military-industrial complex, it does a damn fine job. Now, that aside, I want to make it clear, all of the whining, sniveling, mewling fools, all the way from the Tucker Carlsons and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Kurt Mills of American Conservative Magazine, all the way over to the Bernie Sanders and your strange Hugo Chavez fetish fools like AOC and Zoran Mamdani. They can suck eggs. And they are. They are absolutely sucking eggs. The crying and the weeping and the gnashing of teeth from those who have now been consistently wrong about everything. And I mean the same people over on the woke right, or whatever you want to call them, the goobers who are terrified of the Jews as though everything is some kind of a Jewish plot, to those over on the left who also think everything is a Jewish plot. Horseshoe theory alive and well. The same people who have been wrong about Iran, Charlie Kirk's assassination, the Israeli-Gaza ceasefire, China and Taiwan, Iran again, and Nigeria are wrong again now. They are dead wrong. It doesn't matter whether it's Tucker, MTG, Bernie, Candace, Mamdani, some Groiper, Scoreboard. The United States military is unmatched. Some tin pot dictator who is causing the United States tons of harm and has caused the United States tons of harm through Tren de Aragua, through the Cartel de Sol, through bolstering the arms manufacturing and services to a number of other issues the United States has had up through Central America, all the way through the Southern and the main Caribbean. The United States has dealt with the swarms, the hordes of migrants from Venezuela. And now some of these fools are saying, well, you can rest assured we're going to have all of these migrants from Venezuela come into the country. Who the heck's been coming into the country over the last decade? The problem has now been eliminated. But aside from all of this, of course, Venezuelans in Venezuela and around the globe are cheering, are on parade. All of the whiny, white, elbow-licking, goofball members on the far right who compare everything to neocons in Iraq because they don't read, they've never been outside of the United States, they just lick their own elbows. Or on the left, who claim that everything is a problem due to racism or xenophobia or Islamophobia or adobophobia, who knows? That kind of group and the populist to the extreme hyper-isolationist crowd are wrong yet again. And this matters to me enough to share it with you at 1:33 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday afternoon because Scoreboard matters. Scoreboard matters. I am a Hoosier from Indiana. I'm in Eastern Central Indiana. I have been an IU football and a basketball fan for a long dang time, even when it sucked. My father is a Notre Dame football fan, and I like Notre Dame's football team as well. My grandmother is a diehard Purdue fan. So I've had a rough time of it when it comes to how Indiana has performed, especially on the football field. When Coach Curt Cignetti came in and brought about fundamentals and winning, that's the only thing that mattered, and never letting up until the job was done, he got results. And what did you get? You got scoreboard. You got points that were higher than anything the SEC could cough up, anything that, well, we're not even going to mention the Big 12 or the rest of the Big 10. IU came to play. And now what do you see? Recognizing talent because talent gets results. Your conspiracies and your hypotheticals and your, China and Russia could theoretically uphold Venezuela. No, stop playing goofy goober games with someone who makes predictions based on, the Lord gave me a dream that Charlie was actually murdered by Egyptians holding menorahs. Stop listening to those people. The reason that you listen to Victor Davis Hanson is because he is correct. The day that I stop being correct will be the day that anyone who tunes into the Tony Kinnett cast will and should leave. Absolutely. As long as I continue to read the room, as long as you continue to read the room and get your news from places that read the room, look at things on the ground, and then don't compromise, you get results. Good in, good out. And it should be noted, all of the libertarian crowd who's very, 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 very upset. I should say, when I say libertarian, I mean like the grumpy, never Trump libertarian people who are currently whining and mewling and upset. Oh, this is against the Constitution. Nope. War Powers Act 1973. The president followed it to a T. There were no leaks. Accomplished his goal. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. In less time than it took for Kamala Harris to secure her next promotion in California. The president of the United States absolutely, wholeheartedly, without any issues at all, without any nation building, accomplished it. And now American oil companies are absolutely going down to secure some of the oil. It was always about the oil. And I'm sorry, when the nationalization of oil took place and American companies were screwed over, why was that okay? You do realize that we buy that oil here in the United States that was taken and nationalized. What the United States has to play by some special rules that no one else has to play to? All of the peddlers of international law can suck eggs. Absolutely. Go cry in a corner. No one cares what the nonsense little no testosterone beta cuck has to say about international law that only ever seems to apply to the United States and a few select of its allies who they don't like being winners. I'm okay with winning. That's my position. And if the United States swept in tomorrow and took the Panama Canal, if the United States swept in tomorrow and took Greenland, good. Winning is on the table. If you can't win, don't start the operation. And if the president of the United States started launching a lot of military operations that failed, then I and many other Americans, the majority of Americans, would say, dude, stop. They don't want to be mired in ridiculous nonsense. Americans like to win. Whether it's on the economy, whether it's on foreign trade, whether it's on foreign policy, the Monroe Doctrine, the Don Roe Doctrine, whatever you want to call it, victories on the table cannot be disputed. Scoreboard, scoreboard, scoreboard. That's what Americans have always wanted, always, all the way back to the Revolutionary War. He who wins makes the next move. And anyone out there who is telling you that you're supposed to be ashamed or embarrassed or, well, yeah, maybe Nicolas Maduro was a dictator, but I mean, the way that we did this, as though there's some magical fairy tale land where everyone gets in a room and votes on an operation that still ends up being a surprise. This weird fantastical idea comes from the same people who can't get through a convention without a knockdown drag out over a legal age of consent or driver's licenses. Or on the left, over reparations for some magical color of people, or, yes, happy to say, state-run grocery stores, whether they be financed in Moscow or in China. You don't have to listen to these people. You don't have to be browbeaten by all of these goobers, nor are you. The vast majority of Americans right now are celebrating, as they should be, just like the people of Venezuela are celebrating. And if that comes with extra oil, awesome. I would sure enjoy some 75-cent a gallon gasoline in the Toyota Hilux that I can now purchase because Trump has also scrapped a lot of that other garbage from the Biden administration. And as much as the Biden administration preened and postured for time on time about how he was going to be the president who steps into the office and I'm going to say no to Maduro, and I'm going to say no to Putin, and I'm going to say no to Renan. And anyway, the president of the United States right now, Donald J. Trump, has been far more an effective foreign policy mind, a far better strategist, and a far better commander-in-chief than Joseph R. Biden, who in 2020, June 21st of 2020, Trump talks tough on Venezuela, but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolas Maduro. As president, I stand with the Venezuelan people and for democracy. Joe, I wish you were alive to see this. To see Donald Trump go down and pick up Maduro, bring him back to the United States, and throw him in prison with Diddy. Now, I think that Trump should go a step further and give Maduro a fantastic cellmate, a friend of school shooters, the tampon Tim himself, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. But I am absolutely satisfied with this for a moment. Anyone out there that tells you you need to feel bad or suspicious or upset needs to put down the phone, touch some grass, and enjoy the win. This is the 250th year of the greatest republic ever to grace the face of this earth. Take the win. Enjoy it. If you're not a Baptist, go. Crack open a beer, enjoy it, sit back and relax. If you're a Baptist, I'm sure we've got some Welch's sparkling cider somewhere for you to enjoy. I'm Tony Kinnett. I have no idea what to call this, just a couple of thoughts. Have a great afternoon. Take care.